Start anytime you wish.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're thirsty. You can't concentrate no matter how hard you try. In school, you ask to get a drink of water, but you're denied. When you get home from school, you chug 3 full bottles of water. And you do the same thing in the middle of the night. Your family's concerned because you're acting like a child who's been molested. Quiet, sad, and you say that nothing's wrong. You go to the doctors for your annual checkup, and you deliver some life-changing news. You're a type 1 diabetic. This is exactly how we found out that my sister had diabetes. According to the National Diabetes Information Clearinghouse, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. For some reason, the immune system attacks and destroys the beta cells in the pancreas, which then causes it to produce little or no insulin. A type 1 diabetic needs insulin every time they eat. My sister was 9 at the time, and we knew nothing about this condition. She was admitted to the hospital for a week. Before she could be released, everyone in my household had to learn to inject her with a needle. Diabetes affects about 23.6 million people in the United States, which is roughly about 8% of the population. So you probably know someone who's diabetic. It would behoove you to be aware of what it is and ways you can help. Today, I'd like to urge you to donate to the Tour de Cure so that all people affected by diabetes can be helped. Let's start with the need for your help. You know when you're super hungry and you just go into your junk food cabinet or your fridge and you grab anything to eat and you scarf it all down? Well, unfortunately, diabetics cannot do this. First, they need to check their blood sugar. Then they need to judge whether or not that food will be good for them, like will it raise their sugar too much. Next, they need to get their insulin ready. And they need to put on the needles on the insulin. After, they need to calculate how much insulin they're going to get. Then they give themselves the needle. Then they need to put everything away. And then finally, they can eat. The effects of diabetes are frightening. According to the American Diabetes Association, you can develop problems with your eyes, kidneys, nerves, heart, blood vessels, gums, and feet. Cataracts is a covering over your eyes, over your lens, that would cause your vision to be blurry. And the ADA also states that many people without diabetes get cataracts, but people with diabetes are 60% more likely to develop this eye condition. In addition, people with diabetes are 40% more likely to suffer from glaucoma, which is when pressure builds up in the eyes that pinches the blood vessels that causes a slow loss of vision. Kidney disease is also very common for someone who has very high sugars for a long time. The kidneys filter an excessive amount of blood over a period of time, causing them to slowly lose their function. Then the person would need to go on dialysis. Nerve damage can also occur in the legs and feet, which can become very serious because they can get a cut and not notice it, and then the foot would get amputated. Heart attack, stroke, and blockage of the blood vessels can also occur. In addition to having to deal with the physical hardships, emotional issues can also develop. A sense of feeling like an outcast is very common. Ryan Dinkrave is a 16-year-old Michigan high school student with type 1 diabetes. His theory is to control the diabetes and not let it control you. Ryan says some people at his school were reluctant to help him with his diabetes because they didn't want to get sued or something were to go wrong. Upon diagnosis, sadness, anger, and depression can develop as well, but Ryan's advice is to not think you're different because of it. Ryan used to have to inject himself 5 times a day with insulin, but has now switched to an insulin pump, which he loves. Now that I've illustrated the need for your help, let's take a look at how you will be satisfied after donating. To help individuals, like my little sister and Ryan, with diabetes, whether it be type 1 or type 2, you can donate to organizations that specifically want to help find a cure for this disease. For the past 2 years, I've been a part of the Tour de Cure, which is a series of fundraising cycling events held in 43 states nationwide to benefit the American Diabetes Association. There are 4 routes, which are 61, 33, 12, and 3 miles long. The terrain is mostly flat scenic routes, so it's not difficult at all. Last year, more than 50,000 cyclists in 80 tour events raised nearly $17 million. This event is super fun, and it's kicked off by the national anthem and concluded by lots of food, karaoke, and just socializing with other riders. You feel great about yourself afterwards because you've just got an awesome workout, and you've helped raise money so that one day a cure can be found. After I told you about how you'll be satisfied, now you can imagine a diabetes-free world. Let's take a look back at the scene that I first described. You can recall that feeling of being super hungry and wanting to just grab something right out of the fridge. Instead, after getting home and being famished, you walk right up to your cabinet, grab a bag of chips, and walk over to the couch. You turn on the TV and enjoy those chips without even having to worry about the detrimental effects. In conclusion, I urge you to donate to this cause. Millions of people are affected by this disease each day, and believe me, it's not easy to deal with. If it was your kid or your sibling, wouldn't you want to do everything possible to help them with this disease? So I urge you just to support my sister. Donations to the Tour de Cure can be made at tour.diabetes.org, or you can give me the money and I'll make sure it gets added to our fundraising account. Thank you.
We have